Hi, everybody. Live for the second time today. I'm going to be joined by Brittany in just a minute. So she will request to join. Actually, Brittany, I will send you a request. Sorry, guys. 1 second. There she is. I think. Yay!
Hey, girl, hey!
Hi! There you are. I
How
can
are
hear
you?
you. Now
Can you
I
hear
can
me
see
okay?
you. Yes. Hi. Hi. Good. How are
Hi.
you?
How's it going? Good. We're safe. We haven't drowned
Crazy.
over here in
Yes.
Southern California, which is good.
Has it been more rainy this week?
Oh, nice. Yeah, supposedly. I don't know. It keeps changing. So I'm not even looking at the weather anymore. It's more of like whatever
We were
happens,
having
happens
like
sort of thing.
winter
So
for a while again, sort of in a weird way. And now we're back to all of a sudden yesterday and today have been beautiful. So I'm like, I'll take it. It's spring has sprung.
I know, huh? Yeah, I'm definitely ready for like a little bit of warm weather, but I've been inside a lot, so I'm like, whatever, it's fine.
Tell me how to say last name. Hero.
Heroes. So we always say, my husband came up with this analogy, like a key and a rose, like key rose.
I just wanted to make sure I said it correctly when I introduce you. I mean, more people know you than know me, so I'm sure joining right now. Thank you guys for joining, because I think they know you more than me, so I'm happy.
Yeah. No, Megan,
I'm just thanking you so much for your following, and I'm thrilled that you're here. So thank you, and for joining. Thank you for joining us. So Brittany Quiros, I said that right?
You have like this little apprehensive glitter in your eye.
Created a hot MS to help change the perception of what disability looks like. Through her advocacy work, writing, art, music, and ability to be transparent about her disease, she hopes to bring love and acceptance to others living with multiple sclerosis. So, I love it. It's beautiful. When I read it, I was like, yes, I love how she says it. It's very like-minded with me. So, tell me about your journey. I want to hear about your journey. Share with.
Well, you know that Megan and I share a brain, everyone, because we used to be thespians. We come from a theater background. Okay, in a nutshell, to look at life, I guess, in the more grander, wider frame of stance, I feel that I had been spending a lot of time in my adolescence trying to find my purpose and trying to find that soul-fed heartstring, you know, that I could pull on. And for a long time, I thought it was just music, and I thought it was just theater and performing. And while that's still a huge part of who I am as a person, I always felt sort of stuck, that I was supposed to be here for a bigger purpose. I'm Christian. I'm strong in my faith, although I will admit I'm a lazy Christian right now, and I have not been physically to church in a long time.
Can be church, right? Like connecting to the divine is.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
It doesn't mean I have to.
Yeah, totally. So I had been feeling for a really, really long time that I was not being completely true and authentic to why I'm here. And I'll tell you what, it sounds so strange, and it sounds so masochistic almost, in a way, that it took the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis for me to go, this is it. This is why. This is my why. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this amazing community. I'm seeing so many people that I love so much pop on and joining right now. It's like, hi, I love all you guys. But you know, it's like, this is what it's about. It's about the connection. It's about the conversation. It's about, you know, you inspiring somebody else, and then that person inspires 5 other people, and maybe changes the, you know, it could be the smallest thought. Lex is my BFF. She's on here too. Hi, babe. You know, it's that opportunity to have the smallest. It could be a comment. It could be a photo. It could be an article. It could be anything. It could be one sentence that you say that completely alters and changes the trajectory of somebody's life choices. And it's an opportunity, I think, that has so many endless possibilities for so many of us. So I'm so blessed to be a part of this family. It's like, it's magic.
I mean, that's what,
it's magic, man.
That's why I created what I created. I mean, that's why the MS stage was born. I was like, I'm on a mission. I don't have children, and I have like a legacy. Like, what am I here to leave behind? Like, what am I truly here to leave behind? Like, there has to be a bigger reason. And through my work, like you and I love theater, and through the things I love to do, I created practices that help me on my journey, and now are being proven to help many women on theirs around the world. So it's very cool in a weird backwards way, right? Like, it's a blessing, and not like for everything. And I'm a huge believer in that. And then there's those of us like you and me who are like leaders in the pack, who are really there to inspire and empower and help people get through to the other side, right? In whatever ways that we do that, and get out of victim mode, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it is so easy to get in that victim mode, and the woe is me, and oh, my life sucks, and it's like,
and there's a lot
of
that still out there. And I think that, and I get it, but I also think, like, especially people newly diagnosed are really, they don't know where to go, right? It's like, yeah, of course, they're like thrown into how is this my life now? And now I'm dealing with doctors and all these tests and whatever, but like, where's my who are my people? Like, who am I supposed to be you know? Instagram has changed that a lot. I mean, I was diagnosed 19 years ago. Instagram didn't even exist. There was no, and support groups were like old people, right? It was like,
yes, it wasn't relative. It wasn't relative to us and the time and
desire to do that. To me, I was like, no, I'm gonna walk in there and be depressed. Like, I'm not gonna walk out of there feeling hopeful. I felt like I was gonna walk in feeling depressed, or going in being like, I'm looking around at everybody and they're just, this is depressing. So that's not a group I want to join. You know, that's not.
No, I've tried, not in MS standpoint, but I've tried, you know, with Al-Anon and a few other, like, I think I tried to join a PTSD trauma-based support group once, and within 5 minutes I was so turned off. And not to say that this isn't something that I recommend. Hey, if you know, painting with unicorn spit works for you, then do it. Find the beast, drain the saliva, and create art with it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever works for you. It's not one size fits all, but for me, it's just, it was kind of like, this isn't what I want. This isn't feel like
somebody just wrote,
you know what I mean?
Yes, I Hear You was diagnosed 20 years ago and is way too depressing. Yeah, it was just a very different time then. I think a lot. There were no resources. There was no information. There were really not a lot of drug. I mean, now there's tons of drug options. Now back then there were none. You know, there were like 2 or whatever. So yeah, it's a very different world than it was when I started on this journey. But which is why, I mean, the MS stage is a sacred space for women. It's a healing support group. I mean, essentially that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a support group for women. And
and it's needed, and it's needed. You know, you and I talked about this on my podcast like a week or so ago, because my time continuum I can't gauge time at all. It's like, I don't know if it was 2 months ago or 2 days ago.
I don't really
have no idea.
I
know, seriously.
also, everybody, we did an awesome episode on Brittany's podcast, so go listen to that too, since you're.
Yeah, all the odds with the hot MS. It was a really, really good conversation. I remember leaving our conversation and my soul was like,
oh,
yes, so good. But what you're doing is I credit this to you, because again, it's like the value and the magic of being resourceful and taking like the skills that you've already developed prior to diagnosis and like contorting them in with your new reality, and like being like, look, it's beautiful.
Is how to deal with it, really, because we get in touch with our, like, the emotions. It's truly like the program is all mind, body, spirit. So I connect to the divine, I connect to angels, archangels, yours, mine, everybody's, you know, and truly we work with the head, we work with meditation, we work with music, we work with the body and emotions and how to heal the emotions with the body. Because if you're not in your body and you're constantly in your head, then too much, you have anxiety, there's fear going on, that's all up here, right? But if once you're in your body, the true healing can actually happen, and you can heal those emotions, which then essentially healing can happen on multiple levels once you do that, because it's all about the emotion is the language of. So anyway, so we dance and we do lots of fun things, fun tools. But anyway, so how long ago were you diagnosed? 13?
Diagnosed September of 2019.
It's new.
But it's new. About 3.5 years ago. So I was diagnosed.
But you feel like you actually had it a really long time.
Oh boy. So my first neurologist, you know, after answering this endless questionnaire, oh my God, he goes, well, you know, from your answers, and I had brought my mom to one of my first appointments, and you know, she was listening to the things that he was saying, and apparently he was saying trigger words, because she goes, oh my gosh, you've been doing that for a long time, or oh my gosh. She would always and I used to dance, we talked about this on my podcast. You know, I was in tap class, ballet class. I wasn't like a legit dancer. I was theater, so I was a triple threat. But my dancing wasn't that much of a threat. It was just like a little observation. But you know, I'd leave a dance class and she'd be like, Britt, pick up your feet when you walk. I always scuffed my feet when I walked. And for years, my left shoe, the heel of my left shoe would be worn down compared to the right. So all of this was kind of like that fruistic moment of like, aha, like, damn, it's been there for a long time. But no, my neuro thinks that I've had it for at least 15 years. And we started seeing the little nuances and like hints in my teens, like late teens and stuff. So
what was if you don't mind me asking, the was there a trauma or emotional event, something that essentially, it sounds like the MS might have been there, right? But like it didn't actually flare until 2019. Was there?
Right. I'm totally communicative about this, and this is actually more that I'm going to be putting in my book. I'm in the process, a very procrastinistic, is that a word? Process of writing a book that I'll dive into it a little bit more. But no, I am proud and fine to say that I come from trauma in my childhood, watching, you know, my Nina die when I was 5. Her and I were very, very close. She's one of the most inspirational, strongest women I know, even though I, you know, didn't know her because I was 5. But no, I hear stories from my mom, and you know, my mom and my birth father had split when I was almost 6. I could not handle the transition. That was really, really difficult. He struggles with alcohol. We don't talk anymore, so I'm just
Hey,
going to be transparent.
no,
And if I offend somebody,
I get,
sorry, don't give a crap. But no, it was not a childhood that I think any child would have wanted. You know, it's you know, you think back to memories and you go, okay, well, I was 6 and I figured out that if I could monkey climb up my mom, she wouldn't get hit because she was holding me and I was sort of the obstacle and sort of like protecting her. So it's like, it's those little memories that kind of pop back in your mind. So I do acknowledge my obstacles. I acknowledge my trauma. I see it. I know how it moves. But I also think it's there for a reason. And if somebody gave me the opportunity and said, "Here's a crystal ball. If you could change your life,
no,
would you?" I would say absolutely not.
yeah, because
Honestly,
it teaches us so much, right? All the things we have taught us a lot. Have you have you dealt with the trauma? I mean, have you done work around the trauma? I'm sure.
yes and no. I think I do work subliminally in my own
And
way without
writing,
even
or
realizing that I do.
there,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, you know, I've seen, I can't tell you
yeah,
how many therapists throughout my life. I went through a extremely traumatic experience when I was 23 or 24,
okay,
that will be in my book, which God knows when the hell this thing is
it
actually
will.
gonna, you know, be physical, but it's coming. It is in the works. It is coming. And after that moment, I should absolutely have been, my ass should have
Yeah,
been in a therapist's office within hours of finding out the news. And it wasn't. I didn't really, I guess, have the resources available. I didn't know, oh, wow, this is going to have an impact
yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
future. So talk to somebody. You know, I had just found solace, I guess, and comfort in arts, whether it be fashion or music or film or stage or poetry, spoken word, whatever have you. So I think I've subliminally
Yeah.
soothed myself. Not to say that I've always had success. I've had my yo-yo moments, you know, the ups and the downs. And I do struggle with what I've been told by a few different therapists is a possible personality disorder. We thought that it was possibly bipolar years ago, and then I had so many evaluations, and they're like, no, 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 it's not that. It could be a low form of personality disorder. But then at the end of it, I had, and it's so funny. So I've had 3 different
Okay.
therapists in 3 different states say the same thing, of saying it's not any sort of
Yeah,
disorder.
I was going
You're
to
an
say, because
artist.
remember, you and I talked about this even in our episode on your show that, um, I mean, for me, acting was an escape when I was little. My parents too, so my
Oh
escape was
yeah.
acting. I started acting when I was little, dancing commercials at 8.
Yeah.
I was in adult acting classes at 8 years old, and yeah, like that was your
Yeah.
safety net,
See?
right? Like that safety community,
Right.
and being able to play a character, right?
Yeah.
Play a role. You're an artist, yeah. You're evolving through your art, right? Like that is how you
Yeah.
oh, that's so nice. Somebody wrote that we're both bad at it. Thank
Oh,
you.
oh hey,
Thank
Shannon.
you.
I love you, girl. But I think for a while I was sort of not wanting to really acknowledge my true authentic self, and I kept trying to like be normal and like
Right.
do the 9 to 5. So when my instinct was pulling me in a more artistic way, I thought something was wrong with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I must be bipolar, or why am I into this now? And well, there must be something going on mentally. And I've had, you know, I went through the evaluations and I answered the stupid questionnaires, and every single one of them had said, accept the fact that you are wholeheartedly blood,
Yep.
soul, sweat, everything, you are an artist. So now I'm like, okay,
Yep.
now I get it.
Embrace.
Now I can rock with it. Now I can like own it and like give Yeah, and like give it the recognition that it needs. But man, when you're trying to fight against that grain, you think you're insane.
Yeah,
you
and
really
resisting
do.
it. So what was the catalyst for you actually being diagnosed, like having a flare enough so that you were diagnosed? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know, little things kept happening from honestly probably 24 years old to 27 is when it started getting really noticeable, like tripping a lot more. I mean, I've always been a klutz. Somebody that had a lot of dancing background, like, shouldn't be this clumsy.
Mm.
My face shouldn't meet the ground as much as it was. And then my husband and I met in 2017 and got married in June of 2019. And it was that summer, actually, gosh, it was like, so we got married in June, May, June, July. So this had to have been in like April or May of 2019. I fell down the
Oh my
stairs
God.
of our condo really, really bad. The worst fall of my life. Like, I can, you know, when you get hurt that bad, you can like replay it and your body can
Yeah.
essentially like feel it again. Bad. I was holding my sister, my mom's dog, who's my sister, and she's teeny little chihuahua, and she's so fragile that if I had fallen on her, like, I either would have killed her or broken a limb. So as I slipped going down laminate stairs, I held her out in front of me because I was like, okay, protect sister, like protect Mia. Well, I braced my fall, so I landed right on my, like, the right lower portion of like my tailbone. So obviously I was injured. It was like horrific. The bruise changed colors like 20 times. So I noticed a few weeks after that, I couldn't, you know, when you get out of the shower and you're balancing to put your feet in your underwear holes, but I couldn't lift my left leg to get my underpants on. And I was like, oh crap, I must have slipped a disc. I fell down the stair. Like, it's totally related to the fall. So we had Kaiser at the time. So I had seen my primary care doctor with Kaiser and said, hey, fell down the stairs. I think I need to do a scan or something to see if I screwed up a disc because I can't lift up my left leg. Within 5 minutes of that conversation, Megan, he's like, I feel more comfortable if you saw a neurologist. And I'm like, dude, fell downstairs. Like, this is so cut and dry. Like, stop wasting my time. And he was like, no, you know what? Just humor me. And I'm like, all right. He was very sweet.
Doctor,
good doctor.
Instincts.
I'll tell you what, man, I am so grateful for him because there were so many red flags that I now recognize, but didn't know at the time that they were relative to multiple sclerosis at all. I was like, oh, bodies do weird things, you know, whatever.
People do that. Ignore it. Oh, yeah, I must have done this or whatever. I've been sitting on my desk in a weird way for a long time, and oh, my leg's numb, but yeah.
Totally. You're like, like, okay, unless I'm bleeding or something is like falling off me, I'm probably not going to give it too much recognition, you know. But within, from the time I went in, he said, hey, see a neurologist, until the time I got the phone call which was a phone call, by the way, and I've talked about this multiple times, which sucked, getting a phone call, was about 2.5 months.
Which is pretty quick, considering,
Very, very quick. I hear horror stories of it taking years for people to be diagnosed, and it was like instant. But what sucked about it on a personal level is that, my husband, so I think I fell in like April. It was either like the last week of April, beginning of May. And then June 1st is when we got married. And then I was diagnosed in September. It was so fast that so many people well, actually not so many people, but I'm sure it was insinuated by multiple people. But his mom, my husband's mother, accused me of knowing that I was sick, knowing that I had MS, and married him for, I don't know, comfortability, financial gain, insurance coverage. It's like I had all of that already on my own. So it was like, that's not why. But the emotional hit
on top of it,
was like, whoa, it was a lot. It was a lot. So needless to say, we are very happy and grateful to have, found the stability and strength in setting boundaries with who is in our life and who is not. That's a really hard thing for, I think, a lot of people that, have MS or have any chronic illness that, don't have a support system or have a support system that's maybe not the healthiest one. So, but going back to your, I was like tangenting. It's because of this.
I'm matcha right now. I love tangents. It's good. It's being who you are. This is who you are. You're being authentic and truthful and honest. And
it started with not being able to put my panties on.
That may not be the first thing but I mean, that's common, very common for people with MS. Getting dressed is hard. Yeah. So you've had a lot of stuff, that emotional stuff, that all was like the road that led, but it sounds like the fall was like the thing that really like set it off. Well, at least it set off you getting diagnosed, which was actually
that fall. I'll tell you what, my back is still jacked up, and I definitely I have horrible posture to begin with, but I walk like a Disney witch a lot, but that fall was a blessing, because I don't think that I was in tune enough with my body, and my body trying to communicate with me to have acknowledged it enough to get medical attention on my own without something happening.
Yeah.
I'm
so then
grateful for the fall.
When did you start your podcast? Like, how did you I mean, I feel like that's a very actually short period of time to be where you are in the community, to be as present and as well known in the community. Like, how did that all transpire into the podcast, and then the Instagram community and a lot of followers and being an advocate? Like, how did that quickly shift?
Sure. And thank you so much, by the way. Like, I try not to look at what I create too much, because then I think it puts you in sort of a complacent, potentially egotistical mind frame. So I like to do what I do, and then just put it out in the world. A lot of people, I think, get wrapped up in like, oh, well, they got to look at the website and analyze this, and well, I got to reread the blog that I wrote or the article I wrote 10 times. It's like, no, I'm just going to put it out there, be true, and then walk away. And I think that comes from a theater background of being really self-analytical about, oh, I could preface the role this way, or I could, subtext the color of how I, perfect this scene by this way. It's like, you can analyze freaking everything, but eventually you're just going to have to get on stage and do it, and hear the clapping, and the curtain's going to go down, and then you walk away, and then you go get, food afterwards. But for me, like I said in the beginning I think I said this in the beginning of our chat, is I had been trying to fit in a box that wasn't designed for me, with the 9 to 5. And I mean, I was still working as an artist, but it's like starving artist is a legitimate term that we all know well.
Because I was fearful of doing that, actually. I left the theater world. That's another story, but because of my fear of like not having enough money, like not making enough money. And I was like, how am I going to intern during the day at a theater company and wait tables at night and still be able to like and not sleep, basically, because I'll be up.
Oh, dude, I don't even know how I did the things that I did with the very little lack of sleep I got in my early 20s in New York City. Actually, I wasn't even in my 20s. I was like late teens with a fake ID in Manhattan. Going to theater school was like, whoa, like, we'll club until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll be at,
it wasn't going to happen. Like, for me, I knew myself well enough to be like, I can't do that. Like, how am I going to do this physically? Like, mental, I was like, I can't. And so I left that world, even though that was my passion. And it's interesting because I really feel like actually that is part of the catalyst of like how I ended up being diagnosed. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I totally always think
right?
that.
Like, if you're living, and that's what I teach. It's literally what I teach. Like, when you're living your true essence, which is I'm helping women get back to finding their true essence again, because I feel like a lot of people, they get diagnosed with MS and then what they love to do is like, oh, I could never possibly do that again. I could never do that anymore.
But why? Oh, I hate that. If you're watching this and you think that, I'm going to find where you live and come and smack you, because it's bullshit.
And
it
so
really
I'm like,
is.
It's so I'm literally helping people, and all of a sudden it's like one woman's being invited to rock climb, even though she physically has issues walking, and she's like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be able to do that again, you know. But she's now discovering things, and this happens on a daily basis. I have one woman who's starting to sing again and taking guitar lessons. She was like, I used to love music, but she's a doctor. She was like, I'm being a doctor because that was what I, you know, what felt right, what I thought I was supposed to do. But now she's finding her joy, which then in turn, because your body is happy, right, when you're in joy. And I think of it instead of when somebody's like, oh, enjoy your time, I'm living in joy, right? So living in joy, your cells are listening, they feel that, they know it, they love that feeling, so you can get better, you feel better, your body feels better. So anyway, that was a side note, but I felt like that was the perfect moment to say that, because it's important. It's really important.
Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah. So
going back,
started the podcast. So let's talk.
Sure. So, I mean, it started so before that, though. It was like this, I'm so greasy right now. I'm just going to be real with everybody. I have been in like cathartic, keep my soul calm mode in painting. So I'm still in my pajamas. I haven't showered, and I am so freaking greasy right now. So this is what I'm doing.
So don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh, I can feel it. Like my bangs are like collecting the sweat and the moisture right now. But it was, you know, me trying to fit into a box, and then me being interested in so many different artistic things that I was like questioning my own sanity and thinking that I was like bipolar or something was wrong with me. You know, having the 9-to-5 jobs for financial security and whatnot. And then when I was diagnosed, it was sort of, I had already been fighting and, you know, begging God to be like, okay, please give me purpose. I am not, this is not who I am. I am faking it. I faked it for almost 2.5 years with a job at a mortgage bank as an administrative assistant. You know, I was faking it doing, I don't know, auto extended warranties in an office at a call center. I would like, I know you make the face like you have no idea. If you want to go to hell, do that
that's
job.
Like guts. That's like soul killing, basically. Yeah.
It was so bad. And you know, to each his own, you have to find what works for you. But I had been asking for a good year, please give me a purpose, please give me a purpose. This is not, it's not making me happy, it's not who I am. I need to figure out why I am here. And then I was diagnosed with MS. And I talk about the moment a lot. I talk about this or have spoken about this a lot. When I got the phone call, and I was at work, and I was in the hallway of my office building when I took the call out in the hallway. And it wasn't even, hey, we need you to come into the office and we're going to tell you in the office. It was, yeah, we got the results back, and it was confirmed by doctor blah 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 that it is confirmed as multiple sclerosis. And it's so funny, I just had a conversation with somebody else about this, that you simultaneously feel so many feelings at once when you experience something this traumatic, or which should be acknowledged as trauma.
Right.
However, it's not, and I'll go more into that. But it was shock, fear, panic, but underneath all of that, there was an umbrella of calm. And I couldn't, what scared me more than what I had just been told was that I felt calm, but I had nothing to substantiate that feeling. I had no evidence to give me support as to, oh, I feel calm because of this. And and I felt calm. And that's what freaked me out the most. But I felt peace and I felt calm. And I remember looking up at the ceiling of the hallway. It was like all like pipes and bolted. The office building was very industrial in Aliso Viejo, California. Go tech space. And I just laughed. And I was sort of like in my mind, you know, talking to God. And I was like laughing, staring at the ceiling and in the hallway of my office building, laughing like, yes, there's something mentally wrong with this chick. And I just said, okay. So I gave a little chuckle and I said, okay. And I knew within seconds that this is where he wanted me. And it was a prayer that was answered, and it sounds so messed up, and I get it. It sounds like masochistic. And I know that, you know, my journey is not going to be the same as everyone else's, and that's totally fine. So you can judge, you can say, oh, good for you. And, you know, that's not how I view it. And that's totally fine. Like, this is just my experience with it. And that's it. But it was that moment that was just like, okay, like it was him saying, you want purpose?
Take it.
No. Yeah, it was right. Okay, here's your purpose. Here it is. Yeah. Now what are you going to do with it? So within a week, and I got so many mixed responses from this, Meg. It was like people saying, oh my gosh, like, is she in denial? Does she understand like the seriousness of like what just happened to her? Like, is she like mentally okay? But within a week, I started, I was researching and I'm like, okay, I have to put what I'm experiencing out there. How do I do that? And I was born in 88, so I'm an elder millennial. You know, learned what I didn't even know what a hashtag was. Like, a hashtag was like a sharp. It was a music symbol. Or like the pound sign, like on your rotary phone. So I was like, okay, well, people blog. I'm like, okay, well, what is a blog and how do you start a blog? And I credit her, and I will continue to always credit her because she sparked the trajectory of where I am now with my career, is Ardra Shepherd, MS Tripping on Air. If you don't know her, you need to know her. I found her through Instagram. And I think I had just like looked up the hashtag of like, this is MS, or hashtag like multiple sclerosis. So I was like, yay, okay, Britt knows what a hashtag is now. Awesome. And I found her pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, this chick is like doing it. And she's being vocal about it, and she's being transparent, she's being authentic, and she's talking, and she's proud, and she's like, and it wasn't all just like raw MS. It was like, no, this shit gets hard, and I'm going to be honest. And I was like, yes, soul vibes. Totally understood it. So I was like, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. So if she happens to see this, you have no idea how much you changed my life. And I love you so much. And I plan on visiting Canada to hug your sexy roller ass one day, because I love you so much. And she's just remarkable. She's doing so much right now that like needs to be in television, with her accessibility TV show. That the name of it is slipping my mind. But it was within a week of finding out that I, got the call, was diagnosed, and then I got on GoDaddy. I started a website, and somebody had said, God, you're such a hot mess. And I'm like, God, I know I am. I'm just like a disaster. And I was like, oh, hot mess, hot MS.
Yeah.
So I started the website, started the blog.
You went for it.
And that's what scared, I think, my friends and family, of saying like, does she really understand what just happened? Like, is her way of, they thought it was like denial or something. Like, I like this warped, dysfunctional space of denial that I couldn't handle the reality. So I was going to make it look pretty.
I know what I did for a long time, but yeah.
I think we all go through periods of that, but I think it's survival. I think it's a defense mechanism. I think it's our way of being able to mentally cope with what we're going through without completely going insane and losing our minds. it was just sort of my way of being authentic to what I was going through. But I kept telling myself, if I feel like this, there's other people that feel like
and a lot.
this. And yeah, and if I'm this young being diagnosed, there's people younger than me being diagnosed. So in a way, it started off as a therapeutic process. Like if I could put it out there, I couldn't disacknowledge it. I had to give it authentic recognition of being real and existing and being something tangible that I could touch. So it was really helpful in a sense of self-acceptance, but then it started to be something that was like really helping people. And I was like, holy crap, like this is like somebody's getting something positive from reading my blog about peeing my pants.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That is so
because
cool.
People don't have
that is so
they're not
cool.
doing like they are relating to that, but they're too scared to talk about it themselves, you know? So the fact that you're willing to be out there about it, then people are like, oh my God, wait, what? Somebody else is going through? I want to say Lee Marie Young is saying she did the same, convinced herself I was totally fine for months. Well, I did it for 14 years. So, yeah. So, but what I teach about is that acceptance is actually the key to healing. And when I say acceptance, it's not acceptance as if you own it. You don't own, like my way of saying it is you don't own the label. You're not taking ownership, but you're accepting that it exists. In my mind, it's like this entity that exists. It's there, right? I can see it. I can relate to, I can talk to it. I can name it. I can learn about like, why is it here? Why is it joined my world? And have that relationship with it, right? But not actually take ownership of it. Because if you take ownership, that's different in my mind than acceptance. So because I resisted it for so long, right? But the resistance you have to get rid of. You actually have to accept it. See it from like, just to be like, oh, right, it's there. I know that that's something that I'm dealing with, you know? Okay. He also wrote, being young and talking about incontinence seems to be so frowned upon. It's ridiculous when so many people struggle daily. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, women.
You know, there's so much stupid stigma attached to it. Yeah. It's like, my gosh, it's going back to the fundamentals of guess what?
Right.
We all poop.
And the thing is, like, I'm in my 40s, right? And women my age who don't have MS, good friends of mine who've had children, they, you know, and they're runners and they pee all the time. They pee them all the time. And that's because they've had kids, their pelvic floor is weak, you know, so they go to like a pelvic floor specialist. And that's not because of MS. That's women, I mean, in their 40s who are good friends of mine. It happens all the time. And so it's not just MS at all. Yeah.
No. Yeah. But there's been so much negative stigma attached to, and I do contribute social media to part of the problem of actually go back way before even Instagram and Facebook of reality shows, of reality TV, prefacing the idea that everything is filtered and everything is, you know, this ingenuine space that when I started this, I told myself, if I'm going to do this, I am going to be completely authentic and transparent, regardless of the level of embarrassment. Not that I'm one to get embarrassed. I mean, I think theater kids are pretty brazen and being a loud, obnoxious kid in class, like whatever. But I owed it to myself and the one person that decided to click on a hot MS and go to the blog to be as transparent as possible. And I do not believe that you can fully and accurately advocate for anything without complete transparency. If you are hiding stuff because you're afraid of what people think, if you're hiding stuff because of confidence, because of, you know, you think people are going to judge you, it's not going to work.
So can you talk about what are your symptoms now? What do you deal with now?
I think the worst thing that I deal with on a daily basis is fatigue. I feel like my window of energy has gotten smaller. So like, okay, today I got up 6:30, didn't get out of bed until about 7:15, like answered emails, whatever. Got my stepkids off to school. went to Starbucks, came back, sat on the couch for about an hour and a half, just to kind of like, you know, ground myself in the day. Then I painted for about 2 hours. And then I sat back on the couch, took another like 30, 45-minute break. So I have to like operate in increments of maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Or my energy is just like, it just doesn't work. So fatigue is the worst thing for me. Sleeping sucks. My sleep patterns are so trashy right now. The only thing that gets me a solid good night's sleep is high CBD, very, very low THC indica to like get me in that like relaxed state, because my mind just, and then at night, I have a lot of spasticity in my legs, a lot of like shocking electrical jolts and stuff. I kicked my husband 2 nights ago. I was like, sorry, babe, you were in a dead sleep snoring like a rhino, and I just kicked you right in the back.
Do you use magnesium gel on your legs? Because that can really help.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Does it?
And I own it. I don't, sometimes I get that. I haven't gotten it lately, but I have some, and yes, it's supposed to really, really help.
Yeah.
You can,
it's not so bad,
which
like
is also calming
really...
anyway, because magnesium is calming. But if you rub that on your legs at night.
Yeah. I take magnesium as a supplement also. So I take, what do I take? B12, D, turmeric, alpha lipoic acid. Love the alpha lipoic acid. When I miss it, I skipped 4 days of vitamins last week just because I moved them inside the cabinet so they're off the counter and not clutter. But now I'm like, I can't see them, so I'm forgetting them. Yeah. And my body can totally tell a difference. Right now I'm in like my zoomy mode because it's cool out. I have a really hard time like monitoring and handling like heat fluctuation with my body temperature. So I think we talked about this summer, I'm completely useless. Anything over 80 degrees, everything is like just my batteries got taken. Like,
I mean, it really is. Well, because like symptoms, like, yeah, when my leg drags, it's way worse in the heat of the summer and the humidity for sure. Well, so I would say, but the fatigue. So I would say, like, if you're, first of all, would you like to name your fatigue? Well,
it's a son of a bitch, I'll tell you that.
well, well, do you want me to help you name your fatigue? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
So
I'm open.
We're going to do a quick thing, right?
Okay.
Take a deep breath in and release. One more time. Deep breath in and release. So I want you to see the fatigue. Do you see it as an object? The color. Okay,
color.
What color is it? Blue.
Blue.
Is it, so is it a blue object or it's just a color? Just a color.
Color.
Does it look like anything else? Like, is it like a round blue? Is it like?
It's so funny, and I'm contributing this like subliminally to painting.
Cool.
Is I see paint.
So do this for me. Ask the color, what is its name? First thing that pops into your head.
No idea.
First thing. Doesn't matter.
See, I'm gonna think something like completely
what?
ridiculous, like Thaddeus.
Well, is that the name?
Like Thaddeus.
Ask the color if Thaddeus is its name. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Get out of your head. I'm gonna lead you through this. Take a deep breath. You're gonna say, Britt, get out of my head and into my body.
Hi, Britt, get out of my head and into my
You
body.
feel a difference? You feel like you dropped into your body?
A little bit.
Okay, so I want you to see the blue. I want you to see this blue fatigue in front of you. See it like a canvas. Like a canvas that you paint on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It feels weighted. Like it's
It's
heavy.
heavy. What does it look like? Has it changed?
Mm. It's dense. Like it has like density.
Okay. Does it move? Or is it like a rock?
No.
Okay.
It's like a rock. It's like stagnant.
So there's no flow. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
I want you to ask it what it needs from you. How can it turn to flow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Patience.
So you just discovered what your superpower is. So the patience that it needs, ask it if there's anything else. Is there anything else? Is there more sleep? Is there a new supplement? Is there different food? Ask it more questions.
Definitely food,
Okay.
because I eat
Does
like
it
a
need less
12-year-old boy.
caffeine? It doesn't need less caffeine.
No.
Does it need less sugar? Does it
Yes.
need less carbs? Does
Ye-
it need less
Yes.
gluten? Dairy?
Yes. Yes.
Um, less meat? More meat?
No.
More
Yeah.
veggies? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Any other supplements or any other protocol? Any like more massage or anything else? Ask it. Like movement,
Moving.
dance?
Yeah.
What kind of movement?
Movement.
Okay.
I go dance.
Anything else? Ask it. Anything else?
Hmm. I don't know why
Okay.
trust
Good.
is coming into my head.
So it needs patience, it needs trust, it needs different foods. Anything else?
I don't
What
think
will
so.
bring it, what will make it feel lighter? All of those things or anything else? Will release
Hmm.
the heaviness and get it more.
Surrender. Definitely surrender.
Oh,
Oh,
there you
no,
are.
no, I'm
Surrender to what?
buffering. My head. My thoughts.
Surrendering to your thoughts, meaning more like getting into your body, letting it go is what that means.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I want you to write down everything you just got. Like when we get off, which we're going to need to in a few minutes to get the recording. So journal everything you just got, the patience, the trust, the surrendering to your thoughts. I think it's surrendering your thoughts, right? It's go of your
Right.
thoughts. It's getting out of your
Yeah.
head and into your body and listen to what your body needs,
Definitely.
right? Which your body is giving you a very clear directive. It needs less sugar, less dairy, less gluten, less carbs, more meat, more veggies. I mean, literally, you just got a huge download of information. Dancing, right?
Right.
And all of that, I guarantee you, because you just listen to your body and your body's speaking to you. So if you go and do, I would say for 30 days, if you can try to practice all the things that your body just told you to do, and surrendering your thoughts would be meditation, essentially, right? So meditating and spirit, right? You're connected to God, and you consider yourself religious. So I would also take that to mean surrendering to the divine, right? In whatever way that means.
Right.
So yeah, whatever way that means for you. So that's meditation, prayer, whatever that is, that's surrendering your thoughts. And so I would write all this down so you don't forget, because these are huge messages that your body just told you. And
Right.
through canvas,
yeah, definitely.
maybe it'll become lighter. And when you have, what I would do is in those moments when you come home after dropping the kids off and you're tired, I would use those moments to do this work, to do the surrendering, to be like, I'm actually going to come home, I'm going to meditate for a few minutes or do my prayer. I'm going to journal. I'm going to dance. Even if I'm tired, I'm going to move a little bit and see how that, like take those moments when you're tired, do the things your body asked for you to do, and then see how it feels, how it shifts. It'll start to.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, you're so good.
Oh,
Meg.
you're so sweet. Well, I love this. I love that you were open to this. I mean, this is.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you have to be. You can't go into
really
anything
important
closed-minded
work,
nowadays.
and
Are you kidding?
Students
Yeah.
all the time, and it's really important work, and our bodies give us very clear directives of what.
Yeah. And we tend to ignore it a lot. So listen,
totally.
That is the.
I don't want to lose this recording because it's really valuable, and whoever joined, thank you guys. I did see somebody wanted me to, I think it was, let's see, Shannon Verse says, you'd love that too. Yes, I'm going to be going. Yes, this live will be saved. I'm just answering questions. I'm going to be saving this. I'm also going to be going live more so that people can request to join, so I can lead practice. So that's hopefully going to help people too.
Thank you so much, sweetie, for this conversation. It's always so fun talking to you. You and I met for like, we
totally met
for
a reason. I don't know what's going on with my screen right now. I'm trying to get you back. I'm like, I just see comments. There you are. Okay, sort of. Oh no, sorry. Not very tech savvy, but anyway, okay. I adore you. I don't want to lose this conversation. Everybody tune into her podcast and go to our episode. I think it started on the 8th. I think it went live on the 8th. It's the
thank you for listening so much. Love you guys so much. And
I adore you. I'll see you soon. Okay, so go do the work. Write it down. Good.
I will. I promise. I'm going to
download it all. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye.